Okay, are you ready, Matt?
We're live right now?
Yeah.
Okay, it's all yours, Marie.
All right, so we'll call this to order, starting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's see, 6:30, this 20th of April. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Tasia, if you could please do a roll call.
Yep. Bruce Belargin,
Here.
Katie Thermos. I see her. Marie Colbeth,
Here.
Bob Gunther,
Here.
Patty Jo Forsberg,
Here.
Catherine Cranston. I saw her here, and Lori Belargin.
Here. Great, thank you. Our district mission. Together we engage, educate, and empower all learners, bridging pathways to successful futures. I gotta have my agenda cut off. I'm sorry. Help me out here. Bridging their passions to pathways to create successful futures and positively contribute to our local and global communities. Oh, that was a good one. Should know that by heart. All right, on to our core values. We believe each and every person is capable of success. Each and every person is accepted and valued. We believe in empowering all learners. Change is our opportunity for growth. Involved communities foster strong schools. Lifelong learning is essential for personal growth, and we believe in cultivating leaders. Just a reminder for the protocols, please, to all board members. And then looking for an approval of the agenda.
So moved, Bob Gunther.
Thank you, Bob. And a second?
Nope, I have a motion to amend the agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to remove number 5, advanced operations, items A, B, C, and D. They need to go before the board at a work session first.
Is there
So that's my motion.
Bob had a motion on there. Do you want to second it? And then that's making those amendments?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking Katie.
No, I don't think it normally requires a second, but
I would second Bob's motion and then I consider Katie's amendments to it. Is there a time frame on the CISA 11? Are we at the time frame where we need to do that?
can I get a second on my motion to amend first?
I'll second.
So Katie would like to have us remove 5A, B, C, if I
And
can,
D.
and D.
Yep.
I still am wondering, do we need to do that with the, does CISA have a time frame on there?
You know, I don't. Trish, do you know if they have a time frame? I know they're looking for the contract.
Yeah, they do have a time frame. It was end of March was when they wanted it. So
I believe that we have turned it in at various times, always in the spring, and we have also modified and adapted it throughout the year.
So I'd like let's see. First, we need to take a vote on Katie's suggested or proposed amendment. So
No, we don't have to take a vote on it before discussion. I'm just, I know we're in a time that is extraordinary, but this continually pops up and has for the entire time I've been on the board. And each and every one of these items involves money. And not a one of them has been in front of the board during a work session and given us time to really take a look at the particularities of any of them and then ask questions. So I'm just asking this board to operate under what we should be. So none of, I have questions about the CISA contract as well. I understand that they wanted it by March 31st. It's written on their agreement, but on the contract, the proposed contract. But there are certain things in the CISA contract that are mandatory, which we won't be able to get out of. But I have, some other questions that I feel like we should talk about at a board meeting. Because our board meetings, the regular work sessions substitute for our committee meetings, and I'm just tired of us skipping over that. That's all I'm saying.
Does anyone else have some questions on that or comments?
I would say B and D were discussed at a committee meeting, the last construction meeting, and tonight before this meeting. So I would not like to remove those.
There was no linkage. They were discussed generally as a topic from Mark. There were no details provided.
Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you, Katie, but you did already comment that. Let's see if somebody else has some comments.
I think, Bruce, what you're talking about is the construction meeting. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
So it's a separate committee. That has seen these documents.
Yes. Yep. We discussed it on when was the last meeting? 4/6, and then we discussed it again tonight. Those additional scope items and the GMP that was in front of everybody.
That was a while ago.
In March. It hasn't really changed. It was just some clarifications going back and forth between Mark and Johnson and myself, or Mark and I guess the construction committee.
They had been on the table before, and that's when we said we're just on our end, we're not ready for them until Bruce and I had more conversation with them, and we've had that conversation.
And I would like to see us not try to, I know that the responsibility for the dollars is on the board, but we have to trust that those that have experience in it are giving the benefit of the doubt or putting the confidence of the district in their discussions and processes. So I would not like to see us second guess them.
It's not about second guessing them. It's about following what we're supposed to be doing as a board.
So if we could please have probably a roll call vote, Tasia, on the motion that was amended by Katie. So the first part would be Katie's amendment.
Okay, so roll call vote on the amendment to remove items 5A, B, C, and D. Is that correct, Marie?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bruce Belargin,
No.
Katie Thermos,
Yes.
Marie Colvin,
No.
Bob Gunther,
No.
Patty Jo Forsberg.
Sorry, but I have a question because didn't Bruce amend the amendment when he asked to just not talk about B and D? But asked to the other ones?
It's not on the floor.
Okay, I thought that's what he said. All right, and I'm a yes.
And Catherine Cranston. Sorry, Catherine, I couldn't hear you. Will you turn your mic on? Sorry.
No.
Okay, and Lori Belargin.
Yes.
So the amendment fails. We have a motion. Is there a different amendment that someone would like to make?
I would. I'd like to make a motion to remove A and C and put them on a work session.
And I will second.
So then we would leave 5B and D, removing 5A and C, and pushing those to a work session. Is that correct, Catherine?
Correct.
Seconded by Lori.
Yes.
So Tasia, if you would do a roll call then on that amendment.
Yep. Bruce Belargin,
Yes.
Katie Thermos,
Yes.
Marie Colbeth,
Yes.
Bob Gunther,
Yeah.
Patty Jo Forsberg,
Yes.
Catherine Cranston,
Yes.
and Lori Belargin.
Yes,
Great, thank you. So now we have the amended motion that was made initially by Bob and seconded by, I don't remember.
it was you, Marie.
Okay, that's right. Thank you, Lori. And amended by Catherine and Lori. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? So we have that amended agenda, removing items 5A and C to the work session on the first work session in May. All right, then. So now we can roll into the first part of the discussion on reports. The superintendent's report, 2A.
Thanks, Marie. Probably the most important piece on the agenda, well, it's not on the agenda, but Marie is hosting her last meeting in
Oh,
the
yeah.
district here.
Oh, we can roll right through that. Come on.
I mean, thank you for everything you've done. It's been how many years?
21, actually.
21 years. That's definitely a gold star. You've put your time in, and just thank you for everything you've done.
I appreciate that. You know what? It's not one person. It takes a village. And I know that we don't always agree, but that's what makes it interesting. Dad always said if you didn't have sparks, you had a dead battery, and we've definitely lived that out.
Okay. A little bit about the construction, and we'll talk more about this a little later when we get into advanced operations here. But if any of you are interested at going through and touring the site at some time, I can usually take one or two at a time, take you over, and you can actually see what's happening in the buildings and that. It's definitely, you cannot go by yourself. Whoever goes on site has to be with either George or myself, and don't bother George, please. I'll take care of the tours. He's got enough on his plate there, so I'll just offer that off to you. If you have some time, just give me a call, and I'll help you out there. I did send out a document just before the meeting that I received from, I think, Market Johnson. We're going to get these weekly updates every year or every week, and they'll have pictures and just a kind of status of the work that's going on here. Last week is what they'd call soft demo, where they're finishing up all the cabinetry, pulling all the lockers out, tearing up some floors. This week and next week, they're into hard demo, where they're actually taking down walls. Very interesting process. They use a robot to demo the walls. So it's interesting. The buildings after this next week will look amazingly different from the inside as we progress through here. They're really hitting it hard. Site work, as you can see, that's probably the most visible piece here. Total excavating is really torn into the site here. And again, you really should not, you can sneak around barricades, but you should not be using our campus as a drive-through anymore. You should be coming through the meadows if you're accessing the elementary or the district office. We won't take any responsibility for getting stuck in plowed up roads or what have you here. And actually, I know someone who has a screw in their tire as of today, me. So stick to the blacktop if you can. There was a question about trees, and I knew this would happen as soon as we saw trees laying on the ground. There is nothing in the, when I talked to the architect this morning, they said they replace on a one-to-one basis. Well, about an hour before the meeting, I got a call and said, oops, we didn't have anything in for trees. So we talked about this at our construction meeting, and we're going to be reworking a plan for replacing of trees. I think we have 44 trees that they pulled out of here. And so, again, we'll be developing a plan for that. Let's see. Okay, on a different note, some really good news. Our ACT scores are up almost 1.5 points this year from last year. We're up close, Shannon, I think it's up to close to 21, and we were at about 19.2 last year.
Yep. So kind of preliminary results are showing that we're up. Our composite or overall composite is up almost 1.5 points. So, again, I always have to take this stuff with a grain of salt, right? But looking at this cohort and this group and the data picture of this group, they probably outperformed what their predicted data kind of said where they perform on the ACT. So lots of really good areas of celebration, some really great areas of growth that we're excited to be able to share once we get a little bit further into the analysis process. But so far, really, really good news. So
thank you. And then there won't be am I correct? There's not going to be a report card next fall?
Right.
No. So darn it.
I know, right?
Another topic here. New board members. Bruce will be sworn in tomorrow as being board member, and then Roxanne will be sworn in on Thursday morning, and Roxanne will start on the first meeting in May. That'll be Marie's first day of vacation. So let's see. The new order from the governor, extends his order out to June 30th, which pretty much canceled the end of anything to do with schools for the remainder of the year as far as coming back into normal session. The WIAA is meeting tomorrow. I think probably put a final stake in the sports season because I don't think they're going to go against the governor's order on that. The one thing that puts a clinker in, and maybe Shannon, I'll have you jump in here a little bit, is we were talking about commencement and how to do something. So we're strategizing on several different ideas or ways to do that. Again, I'm going to say, we need to sit tight maybe for a week or so just to see where everything goes with what's happening around the country and how they're reopening, and if there's going to be any rescinding or extending of these stay-at-home orders or in place orders, because again, every time we make a decision, 2 days later, a week later, it changes on us. So we're just gathering some thoughts and ideas from people and putting some soft plans together, and it could range anywhere from something virtually to out on our football field to what have you. Shannon, I don't know if you want to share any comments that you've heard.
Very similar to when I kind of reported on this the last meeting, just trying to keep all our options open and not make any rash decisions, kind of taking it week by week. I think we're getting a little bit closer now, especially with the latest order, to survey our parents and survey our students, just gathering some additional ideas from them, potentially looking at some alternate dates. I have had some parents already sending me some really good ideas, some really kind of fun and creative ideas. So as I've said before, I've been trying to go on the record as much as possible as saying that we will certainly do something and get as creative as we need to be to make sure that we're honoring our seniors. So I was really holding out hope that we'd be able to kind of maintain it in the traditional sense by, being able to hold the commencement on the 31st of May in our gym and just kind of like we've always done. And that seems like that likely won't be able to happen in that form. So as Mark said, we're going to wait another week or so and then, work to gather some input from our families and just kind of see what we can come up with. So slow but sure.
And I think the last thing I want to update you on, this has an effect on summer school. Again, our last day, our contract last day will be May 8th on that Friday, with the snow days and what have you. We were looking at going into that first part of the next week, but now we've made May 8th that Friday our last day, which will conclude our regular year of instruction as far as the online portion and what have you. So now what we're looking at is, some strategies from May 8th to whenever summer school starts. And now being that they shut us down until June 30th, that really puts a nail in any type of face-to-face summer school in that time frame there. So anything we do there as of right now, again, take it with a grain, is going to have to be virtually, but we're still gearing up for, the hopes that we'll have a face-to-face summer school, possibly that last week of July through August. And I would venture to say that that will look different than the typical summer school that we've had. It probably be involving more academic prep work for the school year, because right now our focus is on, with construction and everything else, is how are we going to make next year start with a bang and be in good shape and really welcome these kids back and get them back into learning mode again, somewhat normal. That's our thought right now. I know there's people on the far side that are saying, well, we may not be back next September. There's those discussions too. But again, my gut feeling is that sometime midsummer we're going to be able to start getting people back together here as far as the school setup. But again, that's just my opinion. Questions and comments on any of that I've shared with you?
I just hope that you're still hoping. It sounds like you're going to still have something available for those that don't finish by the 8th, who really are struggling. The parents are struggling to get the kids to finish it. And then I like what you're saying about summer school in July, August being more academic, especially with what could be a real uncertain time of kids advancing due to what we've been through.
Yeah, so we're looking at a lot of different options of, how we're going to handle that. And, a lot of our conversations are taking place, mine obviously with the superintendent groups, Trish has her curriculum groups, Shannon and the principals have their principal groups. And so we meet twice a week and discuss these options. And, I've been asking them, get the gut feel from, what your teachers are saying, what the teachers are saying, the parents are saying, and just so we keep an open dialogue going of what they need and how it's going, so we can modify and adjust this. So when we package something up for that post May 8th piece, we're meeting their needs for those that want it.
Good.
So are the teachers allowed to have some creativity here? I mean, I'm thinking the needs for high school kids are going to be different than kids from elementary, than kids from middle school. I mean, and I'm just from kind of elementary based myself, but something just as simple as making packets available of enrichment activities, having 1 or 2 teachers at the elementary school that are going to get paid, that we could ask them for help, or we could email them. Some resource for those of us out here doing this crisis homeschooling from May 8th till Memorial Day.
Yeah, and those are all things we're looking at. Trish has been bringing to the table different resources that, we definitely had to dig in a little deep.
We lost you.
Well, I'm glad it's not me.
So, it's just going to take some time. Things are hitting us, left and right with new opportunities. And, your one point there, Catherine, about creativity. We welcome creativity. That's what's going to get us through this piece here. And we're definitely not in any type of thing that's ever happened to us before. So I would say everything we're doing is, I don't want to say flying by the hip, but it's creative. And we're making decisions with the best information we have. But again, we're going to offer the staff as much leeway as we can, with also good guiding pathway to where we want to go.
When will the public know some of those options?
I don't have an answer for you on that one. We just every meeting we talk more and more about what that time frame is going to look like. Now, again, with this new order coming out, okay, now that creates a little different parameter for us and that. So I would say, Trish or Shannon or Sarah, if you want to jump in here, I would say probably by the end of this month, we'll probably have a pretty good handle on what we're thinking we're going to offer. Every week that goes by, it changes the dynamic of this. And, they could come out in 2 weeks and say, face to face, bring in a tradition, bring in some type of summer school where you can have kids out on the fields or in some of your buildings. I don't think that's going to happen, but believe me, things change rapidly here. So I would say, Catherine, by the end of the month, we can target some idea on what we can do. We're talking twice a week about this.
Can we
Okay,
have-
well, the sooner we can let people know, the more they can relax. Because it's pretty stressful.
Oh, it is, and that's what we're hearing too. Is that we're hearing from some that they need a break from this. Some people don't want more. They want a break from it. And again, it's all over. That's why we're constantly asking, what do you need? What don't you need? What would you like to see? So we can really tailor make that post May 8th, to what people want.
And I have a question for Trish. You know how the kids can go on the websites, or they all have their own little web page, and then all of those fantastic Zern and ABCya and all of those are on there. Those won't go away over the summer, will they?
They will not go away over the summer. We are continuing to pass out Chromebooks and replacing ones that have stopped working. We are passing out lots of hotspots. We are making all of those sites available. Our teachers are making them available. The ones that were allowed, we have listed on our website. So lots and lots of places that kids can go that they're familiar with out of the gate.
Great, because providing those hotspot and Chromebooks have been phenomenal for our families that didn't have access.
Yeah, we are experiencing a lot of damaged Chromebooks right now, but that's what we expected. And sometimes that just happens, and we have spares lined up in my office. So we sign them out and swap them out as soon as we get notified. So it's been really pretty slick with our community. And each time we pass out a Chromebook or a hotspot, we get lots of kudos, lots of love, lots of we miss our teachers, usually a lot of tears too. So it is a stressful time for everybody. And it's been pretty neat connecting with community in a different way.
But I can assure parents that all of that online will still be available over the course of the summer.
100%.
Okay, that helps.
I'd also like to know what communication has gone out to teachers to let them, have they received communication so that they know that they can start planning for additional instruction past May 8th if they want to? Do they know that?
If you're asking me, no, we haven't sent a formal piece out to them because we haven't made that decision yet. And that's what we're working with. The Christians have been involved with this also. And so they're part of the formula here. So again, within the next week or two, this is going to shape up because again, we still don't know exactly what this is going to look like. We just know that, we need to do something here.
So
Well,
for
I would say in the next week or so, though, they're going to get information.
And for sure, this will be on the next work session agenda, May 4th.
We can sure put it on there.
Well, to Katie's point, I think we want to make sure we address that by the 4th so that we can let parents and everyone else know that we're going to approve something on the 18th. They'd have access after that. I think that's kind of what you're getting at, Lori. And
well, and also just, if the regular school year ends May 8th, I want to be talking about it before that happens.
Yep.
I'm not sure May 4th gives enough time to really let families know. It would seem like that would have to go out ahead of that in communication.
Yeah, and again, we don't have that down yet. That's what we're working on right now.
And that can certainly be sent out via the Infinite Campus communication with parents.
Yeah. And part of our thought is we end on May 8th. We're going to give them a week of rest. We're going to give them a week in between there before we fire up anything. I can say that with certain surety that week after May 8th, these teachers, I think all of us know how much screen time we've been putting in, and to have them retool and get going right away that next week, I don't think that's going to happen. So I would say that we're going to count on at least a week in between any type of further instruction on it. From what we're hearing is that would be a good break. I think we talked a week or two, but I'm thinking that at minimum that week we're going to need to let them retool.
Well, maybe you're misunderstanding me. I'm not saying any teacher should have to teach beyond May 8th under no circumstances. It should be an optional thing for them to start, and they could
Right.
start right away or not start away. It would be optional. But
And
we
I
need to let our families know.
Yeah, and I completely agree with what Catherine is saying.
No, and it's not every teacher is going to do this thing by any means. And that's where the Christians are polling the people to find out who wants to work right now. And so we just, all this is going to come together.
It's kind of a moving
Sooner than
target.
better. I mean, as soon as possible, I guess would be my suggestion.
It's been a day by day with the way the governor keeps pushing back the requirements. Last I heard was May 26th, and you just said June 30th now, so I missed that one. So thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Did you have any more, Dr. Bezic?
No, that's just it's a stress point for everyone. And, we're trying to get through the best we can with the best information we have. It's we know what the needs are. Now it's just how to provide them in the best feasible manner. So we're trying.
Yeah. I appreciate all the efforts you guys are doing, the staff is doing, families are doing, and Catherine, it sounds like you're being a nice teacher to your grandkids too. Wow. So on to the enrollment reports.
Yeah, I don't have anything there. I'm going to jump off here right now because there is another sheet that I just got updated from the architects. I'm going to email out to you so you have it when we get to that point of item 5A and advanced services, or 5D.
So did you get anything from anyone for a public comment?
No.
Did anyone else? So we're at 2C, financial reports. Any questions there? All right, you know where they are on the website, and then Dave is always available. As far as the open forum goes, Dr. Bezic said he had no requests. I didn't hear it from anyone else that they had requests. So we'll roll on into 4A.
And I will make a motion to approve the SCN ECCP applications for fall 2012.
Thank you, Lori. And a second from anyone?
Second.
Thank you, Bob. Do we have any questions on those?
We got this at the work session and all of my questions have been answered. Great job. Thank you so much for the detailed information on the document.
Yeah, it was very well put together. I agree, Lori. Thank you. So if there's no other questions, then let's, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So that motion 4A1 passes unanimously. So now we're on to 5, where we will do 5B and 5D. If someone is willing to make the motion.
We need to make them individually.
All right.
I'll make a motion for 5B, the boy.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Bruce, for all your work on doing that and working with the committee. I'm so appreciative of having your expertise involved with that and the time you're committing to it. I appreciate that so much. I'm grateful that you ran again, and congratulations on continuing this journey. Any questions for the committee, Bruce or Dr. Bezic or anyone else that's on?
No, they're good as far as I'm concerned.
Could either you or Bruce give us, just a brief overview of this document or what it means?
Well, Bruce, do you want to, or, basically this is what we're paying for each. What do we have? 4 of them there? I don't have them in front of me, but we have one for each area of the construction, which is anything beyond this are things that we've changed and we want to add to it, like that additional, I shouldn't say additional scope, but that including that 5D is above and beyond what's in here. However, there is within those documents, there is $1.3 million of contingency dollars in those. So again, we have those 3 pools of contingency dollars that are in the GMP. You've got interest income, and then you've got the under budget allotment, which I outlined in those 3 areas. Bruce, anything you want to add?
These are just the bids, all the totals of all the bids that we got received for each school and the site work. And now the only thing we were discussing was the approval of the general conditions that we were going back and forth on. Otherwise, the numbers haven't changed for each scope of work. And like Mark said, there's still contingency on top of it included. So we still have that 1.3 million in unforeseen items that, again, that they only can spend after being approved by either the committee, Mark, or the school board, depending on the total number or total amount.
So Mark, at the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned something about trees. Were trees something that should have been in this document, but you discovered they weren't?
Trees are, well, so when I think Marie asked the question about the trees, and then I contacted Wold about, I looked at my site plans here, and I couldn't find any landscaping plans or trees in the landscaping plans. There's landscaping plans, but it's all, it didn't have trees. And their response this morning was, well, we typically do a 1-for-1. When you take one out, you replace one. Then about an hour before the meeting here, I got a call and said, no, that's not what's in the plan there. Typically, they deal with, it gets put in early when, if the city has a ordinance or what have you, if you take down plant trees, you have to replant, what have you. So it just wasn't on their radar to even put trees back in. So what we talked about with them during our meeting before here is we're going to identify spots where trees are needed, and then if we need to plant more, we'll plant more. But that I think answer your question is that will come out of our contingency.
Yeah, it'd be a $15,000 to $20,000 contingency item, Lori. Basically, it wasn't on the drawings, so no one bid it. So now if it was brought to our attention, now it's added to the drawing, so it'll be a $15,000 contingency usage item.
Thank you.
Wait a minute. Are we still talking about the guaranteed maximum price document?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
This kind of a sidetrack to that.
Well,
Mark, a thing that you might want to look into is there's a urban tree grant that the DNR and the Forestry Service does. We've applied for it and we were successful with it. I don't remember the terms of it, but I feel it was a really good grant that I feel the school would be eligible to, they're a government entity. So
yeah,
I can pull some of that, that information for you.
Yay!
I think there's a lot of creative ways on this whole tree piece. Is a lot of people want to donate and give things to the school. Trees are one of probably the most popular type of landmark or what have you. So I don't see this as a big issue, but I was surprised that there was no trees on my plans.
Yeah, it was a community comment, and I agree with them. That 2 different people called me up on it. So,
well, and not to get too far in the weeds on trees, the GMP is what we're talking about right now, and the items on it. I mean, this is what Mark and Johnson has to do to finish the project. Stay under this number. We're basically giving them the budget now and saying you have to do the job for less than the price shown in each of these buildings. So once we tell them that, they can't go over unless it was an ad by the school, approved by the school. So it just puts the risk, I guess you can say, on them.
And these are not including the additional scope items which we're expected to vote on later.
Correct. Does not include those items.
Okay, thank you, Bruce. We've talked about these things before, so and it's the maximum. It's like, okay, this is the maximum amount you can spend. I'm more comfortable passing this than I am the next.
So we have a motion by Bruce seconded by
Me.
Catherine for 5B. All those in favor, if there's no more questions, I'm sorry. 5B, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right.
Any opposed? So that motion passes. So then we move to 5D. Looking for a motion to recommend the school board approve the additional scope items as presented.
I'll make a motion on that, Marie.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it too.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, I emailed you the updated list. So it's different than what I sent you out last week. And I'm going to walk through these, and I'm going to ask Bruce to jump in. I don't know if George is. I don't think George. George, are you out there? Okay. If not, Bruce and I can handle George's portion of this. But if you have it all up in front of you here, these are items that, if you remember back, and it was probably in that December range when the first numbers were coming in as far as what we were to expect when we went out to bid, and we were about $1 million over budget. And at that time, with the contingencies and everything, we thought, that's an okay place to be, but we better start backing some of this off. So when we did come in with our bids, we'd be in line. And so these are items that we thought at that time were low priority, that we could do basically in some further maintenance work down, allocate down the road. Well, flash forward now with our budget where we're sitting, we have an opportunity to do these things now rather than later. And that goes into my whole philosophy of let's get as much done as we can with construction dollars and, save our maintenance and our fund balance for other items. So if you look at the top here, I'll walk down through these, and Bruce, feel free to jump in at any time. At the high school, there's several items there. The exhaust fan replacement. We've got some sealant issues with the gym, which we need to take care of because that would cause further damage. The additional furniture. Now we had $800,000 in the budget for FF&E, furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Now that's for the entire district, and that includes like all the science cabinetry, office cabinetry, things that are, some of the equipment that was old and not working in the shops that we're replacing. The additional furniture that are being requested now are things that, we were planning on using some of the old desks and tables and things like that weren't in very good shape. Now we have an opportunity to replace, put new in the new areas and that's
Mark,
what.
I have
Yes.
a question.
Huh?
I have a question about this because in the documents that are appended to our agenda, the total for the Somerset High School is 204,114. The new one that was just forwarded is 241,477 for the same dollar amount totals and the same projects. And quite frankly, I have a problem with this board even considering anything that was just emailed to us as we're in open meeting.
So Katie, we had, the one you had before had a dishwasher included on there, and as part of the POC
Dollar
meeting.
amounts are all the same.
No,
Right, but we removed the dishwasher because that's something that the school could just do themselves without adding an additional
I see.
project cost item. That's just
Okay.
a
But you know what?
third-party install.
You're
I
right.
think-
I'm sorry. I apologize for that, but I'm not going to consider anything that was just emailed during an open meeting.
I think what Bruce, I think Justin, he added the 46.
And it went up. It went up.
He added the 46 rather than subtracting the 46, Bruce.
Yeah.
That's why he's an architect and not a.
Well, Well,
construction manager.
And this is the first time.
I'm going to object to us even considering as a board this document that was just emailed. I don't
Well,
even want to look
I mean,
at it.
Katie, we can use the one that's on the agenda. Because really, if you replace the dishwasher, if we replace the dishwasher, pull that one off. If we make our motion, we pull that one off. Really, they're no different other than you take Mark's blue and add it onto the bottom of the item. And really, this does not approve these items going into the school. It basically gives the architect and construction manager the guidance to either do a PR for like these changes, so that yes, the board is supportive of looking into a
What's a PR?
proposal request, pricing request.
All right.
So they would draw something that Mark and Johnson would send out to subs for bids. It doesn't approve anything. We would still have to come back for approval.
So my problem is that, okay, so if we're going to even consider this as a board tonight, because what's on our agenda says that we are approving as the school board, approving the additional scope items.
Mm-hmm.
And as you can see, I mean, you as a committee may have gone ahead and discussed this, but, and additionally, the cost of these items is way over the amount of dollar amount that you were entitled to approve as a committee.
Right. And
So I want this on our work session with specificity.
Does this hold anything up, Bruce and Mark, for moving forward for the architects and for Market Johnson?
yes.
Planning wise, it does.
Yeah. I mean, an air handling unit is a long lead time item. It's a 12-week lead time. Furniture, lockers.
So we should
those are
just
both-
say because it came to us at the
And
last
so what
minute.
this does
Go
is
ahead.
it puts out there a project for them to put out for a request for proposals. It's not
That's not what
milling
this
us
says.
into.
And some of
Excuse
these,
me. Let's
some
let
of
you
these,
answer my question, please.
some of these were already approved, not approved. They were as part of they were alternates. So we already have good pricing for them. So like to replace the lockers, that's a price that, you know, in the middle school, that's a price that we know is good and has already been budgeted by contractors. The carpet, the ceiling tile, the bathrooms, the big one you see there from the middle school, that's just a round number that has not been approved. It would not be approved tonight. It's just giving them,
The direction to go forward and
yeah.
get some bids.
you know, and again, the furniture, I mean, this stuff, not to say it was ever always in the budget, but it was what was the schools wanted. And we went down to almost a need to make sure that the project came in under budget. And I've talked to Shannon and Sarah both about those big items.
I totally understand that. That's not my problem. My problem is it needs to come to us at a work session so we can do our due diligence on behalf of the taxpayers and everybody.
I disagree. We don't have the knowledge to do the expertise, and it needs to help them move forward.
Oh,
They need the guidance, and that is what we're giving them with this motion. We are not approving any set dollar amount. We're giving them the guidance to, yes, please seek those bids.
Marie, I don't want to be misleading, because some of these items, I guess, would move into action, like the lockers, the carpet.
Okay.
Those would actually be going into that because those are legitimate numbers. The air handling unit number 5, that's a real budget number. So that would go into, again, these are separate PRs, so they came out separately.
Okay.
So those are actual prices that will probably move forward. The round numbers, like the 125, the 20,000, the 15,000, the hoist. I mean, those ones are all budget that we're just saying, yes, we want to move forward with, proposal of this possible item.
Because of the potential delay, what does that do in holding off on the items that were not presented before?
Now, any of these extra items, this is not life and death. It's obviously, as Bruce said, there's long lead time items, and the sooner we get these into the hands of the contractors, the better. Now, to say, let's wait till August till we know where our dollars are, way too late. Way too late to even consider any of these things here.
But waiting until May 4th would be workable?
And so what I'm looking at here is if there's things here that are, deal killers and you don't want to consider, pull them on the list right now so we don't waste our time with them. These are recommendations from the Project Oversight Committee and from what we've seen from the administrative team. And again, if you want to wait till the 4th and go through each one of them again, that's your prerogative. We can, obviously we'll have to do that because you're the decision makers on this.
I mean, Katie, the item I would pull off of there for looking at Mark's original, I would amend mine anyway to remove the replacement of the dishwasher and remove the district office parking lot until further notice. Those items would be coming off as discussed at the meeting.
Okay, but what about the roundabout? Because we've never had that figure at a work session. And suddenly it's here. We discussed that there would be a figure, a dollar amount, but now it's here. And it hasn't been, can we include the roundabout as well?
On that one, we would still have to
Until May.
approve that one as a board.
Right.
Because of that total budget amount of 300,000, we would have to approve that later when it came back with real numbers. Because again, that's just a budget number, roughly 300,000. That would come back to the board for approval.
I understand what you're saying, Bruce, about the whole, these things we had been budgeted for in our original referendum, but when we were going out for bid, you get concerned about the overall cost. So the things that were actually really not included were the roundabout, the district office parking lot, and the dishwasher. So are we saying we want to amend it to remove those three so the board can weigh in? Even though I would still argue that that this should go before the board in a work session. I mean, I don't see what 1 month is going to cost for the board to approve these expenses.
Bruce, what is your amendment, Bruce?
I would like to remove the dishwasher. So if we're going on the document that's on the agenda,
yes,
replace the dishwasher. So that one would come off. We would omit the dishwasher item. And we would omit the district office parking lot item. The roundabout would be, I think, design only. But I mean, that one would be a separate item and that would have to come back to the board. Correct, Mark and Bob? That would have to come back to us again for formal approval because Bob could speak to that. He has another meeting tomorrow about that. Anyway.
Yeah, so we don't have any specific details right now. We have an overall cost estimate, but we want to narrow that down.
So I'm sorry, I'm just trying to clarify. So if we were to approve the roundabout, are we saying we're just going to approve getting estimates?
Getting estimates and drawings for it.
Is that true with all of these projects?
No, and I understand where you're going with it, Katie.
No, I really am just trying to understand.
Yep. No, I get it. It's not making it easy by just having
One
them kind
document.
of mixed in here.
Yeah,
I don't want to make it confusing. I really don't. I don't want
I
to
know.
feel like
I
I'm
know you don't.
rushing or being sneaky in any of these items, but
Don't.
Again, I mean, we could pull off the roundabout item because it is such a large ad. Mark, I don't know what you've had for discussions with them about that, but we could pull it off because it is such a big number. And
Can we pull out roundabout, district office parking lot, and replace dishwasher? Just because I don't know.
Well, here, let me.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Again, the first document you've had, we've had for about a week or so. And I put it out to you guys last week. We talked today, and we went through basically with the POC committee, just walking through everything because we needed. If the POC doesn't approve it, I'm not going to bring it to you at any point in time. But if there's confusion about this, I can see a way of making this a little bit more clear. I don't the way that Justin put it back together on this blue sheet here. It's not as clear as I'd like it to be. Now I know what the questions are. Let me read the sheet, and I'll send it out. We'll get it on the May 4th
Work session. Yeah. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Are there any parts of this that would help the project move forward if they were to get approved this evening?
There's quite a few, but there's
schools.
I'm understanding the questions, and if you're not comfortable with it, don't go forward with it. Well, let me get this straightened out in a way that you're ready, and I need to know your questions before May 4th on it. So, okay.
But we can approve some because there is a motion that Bruce is willing to amend, and there may be enough support on the board to approve those that you're confident in recommending. The whole motion doesn't have to die. We don't have to kill the whole project.
So just another comment here. If you leave, to me, the roundabout is going to happen in some shape or form.
Yeah.
We need more engineering on that to be done. The district office parking lot piece is more of a safety issue. We can wait with that. Again, when people are here, there's an economy of having them when they're on site to do some of this work. We can let that go. For me, anything that deals with the high school, middle school, and the elementary deals with kids and teachers. And I would, those are things that I would push through. The other stuff, we can wait on some of that, but anything that involves mechanical and plumbing, those are things that got to get going on right away. Bruce, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree, and I understand what you're getting at, Katie. I think, Maria, I don't want to change this thing again, but if it's as presented, if we remove the dishwasher and then have the high school, middle school, elementary school on there, and remove the site work items, then I would be comfortable with it. Then that keeps the project moving. And the rest of them are really design items anyway on the site.
So are you okay with that amendment, Bruce?
Yeah, just for the 3 schools and remove the dishwasher.
And Catherine, are you okay with that amendment?
Yes.
So let's have a roll call vote on that.
Before we have a vote, I have another question.
Sure.
So, Bruce,
Yep.
these items that we're approving, these are firm bids that have come in and we are approving the work. Is that correct?
Not firm bids on all of them. No. Like I said, like the exhaust fan, that's not a firm number. The gym precast is not a firm number. The bathrooms are not a firm number. And obviously the furniture, those are items they've already addressed that they know are going to cost roughly that amount, but obviously they haven't got a final bid for those. And again, those will come back for approval because of the size. But they are, they're I mean, the risk on those numbers, these are high numbers from Wold.
And when you look at the three columns there, that middle column where it says project cost,
There's contingency.
any engineering, drawing, and there's contingency in those numbers also. So as Bruce said, again, these are high numbers, so we don't exceed them.
So we have an amended motion on there removing the dishwasher and the district office parking lot and removing the approval to start getting bids for the roundabout. Am I understanding that correctly?
That works.
Or are we leaving the roundabout to be?
Removing the site work
Just,
totally.
just remove the site work totally.
All right. So, Tasia, would you like to do a roll call on that, please?
Sure. Bruce Belargin.
Yes.
Sorry, hold on. Katie Thermos.
Yes.
Marie Colbeth.
Yes.
Bob Gunther.
Yes.
Pedro Forsberg.
Yes.
Catherine Cranston.
Yes.
And Lori Belargin.
Yes.
Thank you, Tasia. The motion passes with those amendments to it. And you will look for more firm guidance for the work session on May 4th. So then we're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there anyone interested in making a motion for any of those or all of those?
Yeah, I can make a motion for the consent agenda. Item A, minutes 1 and 2. B, the board bills. C, the personnel update 1 and 2. D, payment of Wold's invoices in the amount of $26,009.23. And E, donations.
Thank you, Bob. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Katie. Any questions on any of those?
Yes, there is a correction that needs to be made to the minutes of March 23rd.
Okay, what's your proposal there?
In the minutes, it states that policy 0144 was approved, and it should be 0144.3.
Ah. Wow. Good job, Lori.
So you've got that, Tasia?
I will second her motion to amend that particular. Did you make a motion?
No, she's just making a
A
conversation.
correction? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm making that motion of the amendment. I'm amending the motion to include that correction.
I'll second the motion to amend.
So can you say that policy number again? And if everyone's okay, I will edit it in the minutes as we're all on here.
Yep.
It's policy 0144,
Point
and
three.
it should be 0144.3.
So are you okay with that amendment, Bob? Then we don't have to do the second amendment if you're okay with amending your motion.
I am perfectly fine with that.
And Tasia, were you able to get that?
Yep, I went in and I made the change right on the minutes.
Great.
Awesome.
Were there any others, Lori?
Nope, I already saw the correction that Tasia made. Wonderful, thank you.
Great. So we have a motion and a second, and the minutes have been amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. On to general information. The work session will be May 4th with the regular meeting on May 18th. We'll do the once around the table, 7B. Starting with Katie.
Okay, so I don't have anything for future agenda items except I just want to make sure to say, Marie, it has been an adventure serving with you on the board. We have done some great things together, and I've appreciated your kindness and consideration. We have not always agreed, but I thank you for your service and really appreciate it. And everybody in Somerset School District owes you a debt of gratitude for your service. So thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Katie. How about you, Bob?
Nothing, but just to echo off of Katie, I appreciate everything and everything that we've spent together in the board, Marie, and definitely had your times of mentoring me and helping guide me through the meetings. So for that, I'm always grateful, and seeing things through your lens. We think very differently, but I always appreciated that most of the time we came to the end place at the same outcome. So, but I just wish you well, and I hope you enjoy your time, whatever your Monday evenings. I hope it's.
Thank you. I hope this doesn't have all of you doing that, but on to you, Patty Jo. Thank you.
No, I was just gonna say at your admission to the amount of time you got on the board my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for everything for your service and all that. That's all I got.
Okay, Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Marie. But I want to kind of put out a thing to the rest of you. Just kind of think about who we might want to have for our next fearless leader, because we're going to have to think about that at the next meeting. And Marie, you've been so kind to do that CISA job, and I have done it before too. And it's a lot of work, but one of us is going to have to step up to the plate to do CISA and to be the leader. So I want to put that out there, and so that we know that it isn't just something that we're not giving any thought to. So thank you, Marie, for putting up with all of us.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How about you, Lori?
Yep. Thank you, Marie. 21 years of service. I hope I make it 21 years.
How old will that make us, Lori?
And I hope that at our next work session, we can get some information on how Trish mentioned something about hotspots still being given out and Chromebooks being replaced. Could we get some updated information on, do we know that all of our students are now connected? Could we get some information about that?
Yeah, she's probably listening. She could probably send it out to you tomorrow. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Lori. Bruce?
Just so everybody knows, if you do have any construction questions from any of those items on the agenda, just bug me and I'll bug the right person or ask them at the committee meeting right beforehand, or reach out to either principal or Mark or anybody too. Just make sure you reach out, and just like everybody else, thank you, Marie, for everything you've done.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you all saying that. I do think it's a team effort, and it isn't meant to be smooth all the time. These have been some tough years, no question about it, but I think good progress is always made when you have good discussions. I really appreciate that you all care. If you didn't care, you wouldn't be asking questions, you wouldn't be disagreeing. So it's obvious that everybody cares. I'm also grateful that we had 4 people willing to run again. And I hope that continues, that interest is there. So, and I appreciate what administration has done for the kids and continues to do for them, and our teachers, our staff. We have a phenomenal district. We need to showcase that. I will say that for always. Those trees go back in. I do. I was shocked to see it too. And I appreciate you looking into that for me. I wish you all well. It requires patience, but we all can benefit from being patient. So good luck with it. My sincerest respect to all of you, because I know the commitment it takes. So onward, adjourning. 7:39 I've got. A motion to adjourn, anybody?
So moved.
Katie, in a second.
Second.
Was that you, Patty Jo?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much, dear. Okay, motion to adjourn at 7:39 made by Katie and seconded by Patty Jo. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Tasia, if you have any questions for me, email wise, I just wanted to be sure you had those once arounds.
Yep, I got them and I will send, I'm just gonna make a few notes on the minutes and I will send them to you and Katie right away in case I messed up anything in all the back and forth.
All right, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Oh, last thing, thank you very much for the beautiful flowers. Beautiful flowers. Thank you very much. I think that was from you, Dr. Bezic. I appreciate it.
Good job.
Onward. All right, good night.
Right.
Good night.
Bye, Marie.